What's going on, guys? You're checking out QGen HQ. My name is Chris, and welcome back to a brand new video. So recently, I've been getting a ton of questions over my Instagram. People are asking me all about my keyboard that I've been posting. They've asked me a lot of questions, but a lot of the most popular questions seem to be sort of repetitive, and that's two big questions. One, how much did I pay for this keyboard? And two, is this my end-all be-all? Do I always go back to this board? I do review a ton of keyboards here. Is this my daily driver? And the answer to that is kind of yes, and I'm gonna break that down for you guys right now. So first off, when it comes to using keyboards, I review a ton here on the channel. Everything from store-bought keyboards to custom keyboards you guys don't even get to see here. I do use a ton of keyboards, and I use them for lengthy periods of time. That's just what I do on the channel. But I do always end up going back to this board. I call this my Endgame board. The word Endgame in the keyboard community, whether you're new or not, you're going to figure out very soon. That is a big meme because it's a hobby. You keep building boards. If you like doing it, you're going to keep building. But I did wake up one day and said, if I could have one board for the rest of my life, what would it be? You know, what parts would I pick? And that's what I'm going to do in this video. I'm going to go through the process and show you why and how I picked those parts and my own little story time on how everything kind of unraveled to get me to this end point here. It did cost me well over $800. The title's not lying. I spent $840 on this keyboard, which hurts me to say, but I can tell you right now, I didn't spend it all at once, okay? It was over a lengthy process, and you don't need to spend that much money on a keyboard. If you guys are new to the game, please don't let the pricing here deter you in any way. I do not want that. You can spend a ton of money. You can spend a little bit of money. It really depends. The great Teja types just spent $3,500 building Tifu's keyboard. This cost me $800. I'm building one right now for $300. I've built ones for $200. You don't need to break the bank to build a really nice custom keyboard. And if it's your first keyboard, there's no way you should be doing that. Take the time, learn the game, learn the process. That's what I did. I asked questions. Please ask questions. That's so important. That gets you answers and results. If you have any questions for me, ask me. I'll do my best. I'm no professional, but I'll do my best to help you out. Whether it's questions down here in the comments or over at my Discord, I will also link places that I personally go to and places that I personally will talk about in this video. I go to a bunch of places to get some answers. Doesn't matter how much knowledge I have, you know, I still ask questions. That's just how you get places in life. So, yes, over $800 for this keyboard, and this is my daily driver. So let's go ahead and break down the process that I went through to achieve my ultimate endgame keyboard. So first things first, when picking out a board, you're gonna wanna go with a case, right? So I personally like 60% form factor cases. That's just a smaller case, less keys. I'm not a fan of the F1 keys, the arrow keys. I could still get full functionality out of a 60% board, so that's just my personal preference. I've always been in love with the small form factor. I get more space on my desk. I think overall it's a cleaner looking keyboard. Nothing against full boards, but personally, I've always been a fan of 60% boards. So knowing that, I knew my endgame board would definitely most likely be a 60% board. So that was easy enough. Okay, well, who am I going to get a case from that makes my perfect 60% board? Now, if you know anything about keyboards, you probably heard the name Rama before. They, in my opinion, are like the Louis Vuitton, Gucci of the keyboard game. Just their craftsmanship that they put into their work is next to none, in my opinion. I absolutely love what they do over there. They take, like, you know, one solid piece of just aluminum, it's bead blasted, their millwork is beautiful. It's really next level stuff is what you're paying for. So I said, you know what, I've always wanted a Rama board. Let's go see if they offer anything. Right as rain, I was lucky enough, I went there just the right time. They were offering a pre-order on their M60a, their Sequence 2, and that's exactly what I did. I went to their pre-order list, I went down the list, I looked at the colorways, and I immediately fell in love with their Haze edition. It's this nice deep purple with this beautiful brass gold mirrored finished weight on the back of the case. It's really, really good looking. If you guys know me and you guys have seen my setup, I am a huge fan of the color purple. And it just fit right in. I have the, you know, gold mirror finish Trident Z RAM in the PC, so a little extra gold flare on the keyboard. It just kind of was meant to be. So I immediately fell in love. I went ahead and I pre-ordered that, and that's exactly what we got. We got the M60a 60% form factor case here in the Haze edition. Very, very awesome. Was super pumped. But now when I was checking out the website, I said, all right, well, I have to get a PCB, obviously. And I'm a huge fan of hot swappable PCBs. I just never really enjoy soldering. I like to, build it pretty quick. Nothing against soldering or desoldering. I just wanted a hot swappable PCB. They offered a nice starter kit on their website as well. And it came with Alias Silent 60-gram switches. So I went over to their YouTube. I listened to a lot of sound feedback, and I really like the way they sound. So I said, you know what? I'll just get the starter kit. If I don't like the switches, I could always swap them out. They came in. I was able to lube those with Krytox 204. I love the way they sound and feel. I will actually give you guys a nice sound test here in a moment. And then they also offered a internal weight or a dampener. Yet again, I went over to Rama Works' YouTube page. They had a nice little video set up with a lot of different timestamps to hear the sounds. I figured, the case being one solid piece of already aluminum being pretty heavy, I didn't really need the dampener, but I did want to put, I'm sorry, not dampener, I didn't need the internal weight, but I wanted to put something inside to kind of maybe, silent the, the hollowness of the board itself. So I went ahead and picked up the internal dampener for $45. All said and done, I think it was $360 for the actual case, $45 for the starter kit, which is really good, I think, for a PCB with some switches, and $45 for the dampener. So that was the brunt of the purchase right there. Here's my exact receipt from Rama Works' website, $498.91 with that $48 shipping. But, they're overseas. I believe they're in Australia. So, $50, it is what it is. That's it, man. That's the big brunt of the purchase right there. So that's going to help increase the value up here to the $800 we were talking about earlier. So all said and done, I was super pumped. Everything's pre-ordered, ready to go. Now I'm going to wait a little bit, and then I'm going to take my time to find the proper keycap set to really go with this beautiful deep purple board that was coming to me. So now when it came to finding the perfect set of keycaps to match this board, I had a lot of fun with this. I mean, it was stressful, but ended up being pretty fun. I looked around the internet, and the only set of keycaps that I kept coming back to were, of course, the GMK Phantoms. Very, very awesome looking set. I had to have it. I was like, yo, it's that perfect purple. It has that, yellowish gold tint in the legends that really does match the gold plate on the back of the actual case itself. And I knew some complaints that people were saying were, they don't really look like the render. They're actually a darker purple. And I actually kind of dig that, because I didn't want to have the purples be perfectly matching. I wanted to be a little offset, but purple's purple, so it's going to go together. And that yellowish gold font really did match. I had to have the GMK Phantoms. Of course, knowing me, I missed the group buy. So I had to scour to some third-party stuff. I checked all over the place. Mech Market, eBay. People wanted like $400 and up for this key set, and I just wasn't having that. I didn't want to spend $400. So I took a few weeks and I tried to find a different keycap set, and I found other similar ones, but I just didn't find anything that really hit home for me. And I was like, wow, this is my endgame board. I gotta have the perfect pieces, right? I need to get those Phantoms. No matter what I get, it's just not gonna reside well with me. I'm gonna always think, well, I could have had those Phantoms. This is the board. I actually did juggle spending $400 something on this key set. I'm not gonna lie, I did, and I stopped myself, and thankfully I did. Earlier in the video, I told you guys to ask questions, and that's exactly what I did. I was in a ton of different Discords, and one day, it was like a Tuesday afternoon, I was in the Top Clap Discord. If you guys are unfamiliar, they're a great YouTube channel. Check their work out. If you guys want some really good keyboard information, they will help you out. So I was in their Discord, and I just typed down, I was like, hey man, does anyone know where I can get a set of GMK Phantoms without really going crazy and breaking the bank? I was hoping that maybe I'd find someone selling one and I could maybe get it for around $300 and kind of like maybe negotiate. And this guy just typed back to me, and he was like, this user in there was just like, hey, I think this website Donut Cables is selling a leftover from the group buy. And I was like, what? I clicked on the website, went to donutcables.com, and I couldn't believe it. There was 3 in stock. He had 3 sets of the GMK Phantoms in stock, and other people must have been reading that chat, because literally as I purchased it, I went back and they were gone immediately. All 3 sets were gone. they were just gone. So other people must have been reading and maybe picked it up. Whether they flipped it and sold it for more, I don't know what they did, but I was super ecstatic that I got my hands on an actual set of the GMK Phantoms, and I did not go crazy on the price. I spent $170. It was $170 plus $13 shipping. It was like $183 and change. And I got myself the set of the GMK Phantoms. That was an absolute win in my book. I didn't have to go crazy and spend $300-400 for this perfect key set. So patience definitely was a virtue here. I'm so glad that I waited, and I'm so glad that I asked questions, you know? And yeah, so I got myself the perfect key set. That arrived, was really ecstatic. I put it up on a shelf, and I could not wait to get these keys on this board. So now I was like, listen, what's next? What else do I really want to get for this board? And that is going to be an Artisan Keycap. Now, when it comes to an Artisan Keycap, I just feel like everyone loves a nice Artisan Keycap. It doesn't make any sense. I mean, it brings your keyboard to life, literally. So I had to have a perfect Artisan to go with this board. Now, for the sake of the video and the full price, I'm only going to tack on one Artisan Keycap, because originally that's all I went with for this board. Now that I've had this board for quite some time, I actually swapped between a total of 3 Artisan Keycaps on this board. I don't like to put more than one on here. I kind of just like to have the escape key just be the only Artisan, because it kind of just gives it its own little flair. So that's kind of my thing. And the original one that I purchased was from Bob's Keycaps. He was doing this he's like a Pokemon themed keycap set he had going on. He had a Gengar keycap that I just fell in love with. I mean, Gengar's my favorite Pokemon, probably because he's purple. And I have the purple board, so purple Pokemon Gengar looking really cool. Got that keycap, $50, $5 shipping. He is on Instagram at Bob's Keycaps. Check him out. His work is phenomenal. Later on down the line, I did purchase 2 more keycaps. For $50, I got another Bob's Keycap, and that was a coughing. Purple coughing looks really, really awesome. If you guys seen the Instagram photos, I'm sure you have seen this before. And then I did pick up somewhere along the lines from Clackies. Awesome. Do great work there as well. I got a Thanos keycap, and with the gold, helmet on. The eyes are illuminated. You get the light from the bottom, the RGB coming through. Really does match the gold accent with the purple Thanos. Very, very cool. So I do swap back and forth between all 3 of these keycaps that you see in front of you, and I just love Artisan Keycaps. I mean, they can get really expensive, but what's so awesome about Artisan Keycaps is the rarity of them. I mean, a lot of times they don't come back around, or if they do, they're just not the same. And each cap, is kind of crafted personally. So not every cap's going to be the same, and that's what's so special and amazing about Artisan Keycaps. I cannot get enough. I have a pretty decent sized collection, nothing too crazy. I'm still looking for more. So if you guys have any recommendations on other artisans out there, artisan makers, please spam it. I want to see. I want to buy more. So these are the 3 caps that I go with. So you'll most likely see Gengar, coughing, and Thanos having a little bit of FaceTime here on this beautiful Rama Works board. So now on to the final piece, and that is my USB Type-C cable. I wanted a coiled cable, and of course it had to be purple, so I found a company known as Space Cables. I'm sure you guys have heard of them. They're blowing up, and the work they're doing, rightfully so. It's awesome stuff. Beautiful, really well-made cables, and he had the perfect color purple that had to go with this board. But yet again, I missed it. I missed every single time it was for sale. I could not get my hands on it. I even DM'd their Instagram. They were like, yeah, you gotta wait for the next group buy. Makes sense, blah. Boom, comes out next group buy. I missed it again. Sweet. So now I'm like, great, I gotta go to the Meg Market, couldn't find it. Good old eBay. Here you come, eBay. What do you got for me? One person has actually got the cable for sale, and this person wanted $180, and then he dropped it to $150 as we were speaking, and I was like, I don't want to give you $150 for this cable, bro. Can we go back and forth and find something here? And he was like, oh man, well, how bad do you want this cable? And I was like, not $150 worth, but can we maybe make something happen? So I actually waited, came back a few weeks later. It was still up there for $150. I messaged him again. He was like, all right, man, let's strike a deal. So he gave it to me for $100, 108 and change. After tax and shipping was free. So that was really awesome. $108. I probably ended up paying like maybe $25 or $30 more than I would have paid through Space Cables. another win in my book. Yet again, patience, love you, ask questions, do that. And yeah, so then that's it. It arrived. And my keyboard, my Endgame keyboard was finally completed. Final price for everything, $840.92. Yikes. Pretty crazy. Didn't happen overnight. I regret nothing. All right. And the total time, and this is including like, waiting for Rama Works to actually create the, finish the group buy and create the actual case, everything with delivery time and waiting for the proper pieces, probably like 5.5 months to get everything in here and put together. And I finally got all the pieces. Like, I was waiting with pieces. Like, I had the keycap set sitting here for 1.5 months. Then the actual board came. Then I was waiting for the proper cable. But it took some time, and I actually built this on New Year's Eve. I went to a nice cool little party, came back early, and I just stayed up till like 5 a.m. just building this board by myself. It was awesome. It really was awesome. And I don't know how to express this anymore, but it was a ton of fun. The process of picking out the parts, waiting, even talking to people, even striking the deals, waiting for that perfect Rama Works board to be created and delivered. It's just something about it. It's just a ton of fun. And that's probably my biggest reason why I love this keyboard community. It ain't even the fact of building it. Like, building it was great too. It's just the whole process from start to finish is great. And then at the end of the day, you have this super unique, beautiful keyboard that just means so much to you. It hits home for you personally because it's your perfect board. I'd like to thank every single person out there that creates stuff for keyboards, man. Rama Works, you guys do great stuff. Bob's Keycaps, Clackies, every other artisan out there. I don't care who you are. If you're out there making keycaps, I love you, okay? Space Cables, I love your cables. Hopefully next time I can actually buy them through you and not eBay. I love you guys. End of the day, man, $840.92, about 5.5 months worth. I would not do it any other way. So guys, if you are out there and you're looking to get into the keyboard game, just jump right into it. I will do my best to answer any questions for you guys. If you guys want to, like I said, take the conversation further, go ahead and join my Discord. If you guys are new to the channel, please consider subscribing. I want to keep growing this community bigger and better with you guys. And if you like the video, give it a huge thumbs up, share it with a friend. Comment down below. Do you like my keyboard? What do you think of it all said and done? What would you have done different? What is your perfect endgame board? Does that even exist? All right, guys. I hope you guys are all being safe out there. I love each and every one of you, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace out.